Hi everyone, welcome to my review of Dennis Hopper's Easy Rider from 1969. So yes, back again, and today a very interesting film to discuss. A film that I watched, once again on Sunday, and if you're interested, today is Friday. As of recording this, this video here. But yes, there will be spoilers, in this, discussion review. If you haven't seen this film, I can safely say I'd recommend this to most people actually, just to see what you think of the film. Give it a go and just to see what you think. So yes, if you haven't seen this though, there will be spoilers. So just make sure you're kind of aware of that, because some big details, will be given away in this discussion. And yes, with that said, as always, here we are. Such an interesting film, this, very unique, and it's a very famous film. Of course, I'd heard about this when I was younger, for a number of years, and then I finally watched this film in 2016, of course, as well. I was very interested in seeing eventually all of Dennis Hopper's films, and of course as well Jack Nicholson, because he does star in this film, but of course he is not in the film as much as these other two, Peter Fonda and Dennis Hopper, but of course he's in the film for just under 20 minutes, Jack Nicholson, but it is one of his you could say one of his breakout roles, in that sense, so it's very interesting for that as well. But yeah, I saw this in 2016, I think it was August or September, I saw this, so yeah, 4 years ago now, and I was just really taken aback by this film. I remember just feeling so, just put at ease really, and just seeing these characters, this road trip film, as well, and very simple plot. I think Dennis Hopper, of course, he directs this film, as we know, and I think this is, just such a wonderfully directed film. It just really is a beautifully told film. It really is a wonderful, piece of storytelling, very simple and just honest, I feel, and yes. Such an interesting film, but just getting the urge once again to watch this film. I watched it Sunday, as I say, and the first time round, I kind of thought, this is wonderful. It really is. There was a few things I was a bit unsure of, just in terms of the editing and stuff like this. It's obviously an avant-garde film. In some areas, other places. Really, it's kind of traditional, you could say, actually, despite, it's known as a real, maybe rejectionist piece, or, just a film that is very different in every regard. I don't feel that. I feel actually it's very, it really is. It's quite a wonderful film to see for its simplicity and just some aspects of the film. They are very classical, I feel, but there is some things in this film, like the editing and I suppose that at times the character development, that is very different, and also the use of music. It's one of the first films really to go for just existing songs, inject them into the actual film instead of a score, as you will, and yes, very interesting for that as well, and it just so happens it's covering some of the best music, at least in terms of years, just ever. I love the 60s music, of course, for bands and general artists. Not talking about film scores and stuff. I think the 60s is easily for me the best decade, for music, and just seeing this film and just hearing this music, it's just so wonderful. The music choice here is stunning. It really is. You could say it's kind of this kind of mixtape, but I would disagree. I'd say it's more than that, and it really is just this wonderful time capsule, just seeing how authentic this film is as well. As I say, very simple plot, basically these two characters, Billy and Wyatt. Dennis Hopper playing Billy, and Wyatt being played by Peter Fonda, of course, the son of Henry Fonda, and yes, he is in this film, of course. He produces the film as well, and of course he co-wrote the film with Dennis Hopper and Terry Southern, it was, and yes, just these two characters kind of going on their journey. They make this cocaine deal early on, and essentially kind of they have, I believe they've smuggled these drugs in from Mexico and going to LA, but of course they make this deal, and yes, they acquire massive amounts of money, and they essentially just stuff the money, if you will, in the kind kind of fuel tank of the chopper, and of course then they go, and of course we hear "Born to Be Wild" by Steppenwolf, and all is well. This film is absolutely stunning. Seeing this film again, just really reminded me of how much I love this film. As I say, it's been about 4 years now, exactly, since I saw this film, and just all comes back to me, and even more, I think this film, this is truly a stunning piece of cinema, actually, and I think it is a controversial film, or one that not everyone, it's not, for example, a universally loved film, like many films you could say are, but I think despite that, it has got a big fan base, and it's generally considered a kind of a very good film, or a great film, on quite a few occasions. But I think this really is definitely a great film, and I love most things about this. There are a few things I would say. Some of the editing, is very avant-garde, of course, very experimental. I feel, but some of it doesn't quite work. As well as it could have done. There's a few things, mainly early on, I feel, where of course we see, a certain scene, it kind of, it's about to transition, and then it doesn't, and it kind of goes back and forth. This kind of overplaying into the actual scene and back, and it kind of it's a bit distracting, and it's of course just something that doesn't really work for me perfectly. It kind of takes me out of the experience, if you will. But really, other than that, a few other moments, I think. This is quite a stunning piece of cinema. I think very authentic. Other than these things that take me out of the film, personally, I think other than that, it's a real, wonderful film here. We have a simple tale, told with such sincerity, and just, I think, warmth. Actually, it's a very, very warm film. But yes, as I say, very, very simple tale, and despite the kind of troubled, you could say, production, not something we always kind of get into on the channel here, but where it's applicable, we'll kind of at least mention, the best intentions, of course. But yes, there was some feuding, of course. There was some hate received from these individuals, the public at times, towards for example, Dennis Hopper and those involved, of course, the crew, and it's a shame. But yeah, it's very interesting. None of that translates. It's anything but a kind of a nasty film, at all, and it really is just such a peaceful, wonderful, spiritual journey. I feel, and I feel this warmth throughout. I feel this this kind of feeling of just I'm at ease. So despite all this, going on, despite being against the odds, really, you could say Dennis Hopper for me really has crafted here a wonderful achievement, and just. Real sincere picture here, with the best of intentions, exploring, of course, the hippie lifestyle, this kind of movement, of course, in the 60s, and yes, it's, of course, a counterculture film, as well, and as well, just, a road trip film, a kind of motorcycle film. There are a number of motorcycle films, out there, but this, you could say is the most famous, and for me, it's just a wonderful, film in all these regards. It's a beautiful character piece as well. Of course, top parts of America, but just these characters, Billy and Wyatt. I think the performances here are absolutely stunning. Dennis Hopper playing such an interesting character, and his performance here is this kind of, at times it's kind of, out of control. This character, you could say, very random, and I guess that's the intention. But other times, very, very, just simple, direct. The way he interacts, you could say, with Wyatt. Peter Fonda in this film is just warm presence as well. More of a quieter character, you could say, and someone that just is very relatable. Seeing him just kind of. In the film, and his interactions as well, and just seeing the kind of the sadness actually on his face, throughout the film. It's a very, very moving film. This, even more than I first watched this film, really picking up on the emotions of this, and just as we know, the tragedy of this. In the end, when I first watched it, I just kind of, blink and you'll miss it. The kind of, the kind of moment initially when, of course. One of our protagonists dies there. He's shot in that sense, and just seeing that moment there, Dennis Hopper falling there, that was just a shocking moment, and just seeing again, just just even more kind of sad to see both characters really getting killed here, and of course very very powerful ending. Just a beautiful song choice there, and the kind of going up there and just seeing the river as well. It's a real really stunning piece of cinema here in its final act, and I think just it was noted that originally the ending was meant to be very very different. In fact the complete opposite kind of ending, but I think this one really fits with the tone, with the actual narrative, and not the message in that sense really, but just the exploration of this this kind of movement, and what's going on specifically in this film, of different how society is reacting perhaps to well, a reaction in itself, to society. But yes, seeing these different groups perhaps collide, and knowing, of course, the actual feelings that different characters, expressing to our main, two characters here. It kind of makes sense, in the way it ends, I guess. But yes, just seeing the kind of character working here, not traditional, really at times, you don't really learn too much about these characters in the first act at all. They're just going about their business, travelling, of course, encountering different members, drug taking, of course, going on here, and just, resting, kind of, stuff, and just travelling, and it's very very simple interactions here, but very complex at the same time. There are many strange moments, you could say, but I think it's just capturing things in an honest way, and just seeing, of course, the kind of explosive moments, you could say, later on. But it's always juxtaposed with this kind of feeling of peace, and just this spiritual movement, really, and it's just a wonderful film in the cinematography. Once again, just absolutely beautiful. The way that the scenery is captured, the editing is a completely different story in terms of how it's doing things, but the way the film is shot is very traditional. Just on location as well here, doing this film, just seeing the way that this film is captured. Dennis Hopper really having just such a keen eye for capturing scenery, and of course just these sunsets perhaps, and capturing the road as well. Of course the editing very very different. Very you could say yes, avant-garde. There are many moments that just very 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 strange. You could say, but at times it doesn't quite work perfectly, as I've said. Other times it really really works, and it kind of has this in the end, or some of the final act. We have this drug taking scene, this LSD trip, and that is seeing it again, really really masterful, actually, and just the way this is kind of so intense. It's this kind of this real collision of different feelings here. The kind of the fear, in it, and also just the kind of free feeling as well. Really capturing this kind of event so perfectly. Seeing this, it really is just wow, what a sequence. Very affecting indeed, and yeah, it's just so authentic. Just the way the Dennis Hopper is really just putting so many different themes into this that are just very easy to see, but just watching it again, the actual intensity of these feelings just enhanced, I feel, and seeing of course just society in this film, and how different members and groups are acting or reacting to one another is very very compelling indeed, and just these characters, I love these characters so much. Of course later on in the film, after the first act, of course, we have the appearance of a character called George, played by Jack Nicholson, and this is a legendary appearance by Jack Nicholson, of course. One of his, as I say, one of his breakout roles, really, and just seeing when these three members are together, George, Billy, and Wyatt. This is when the film, for me, is at its peak, really, and just all of these scenes, really. The dialogue, what this is saying, and just the kind of the humanity of this, and just the entertaining value. When Jack Nicholson and the others are in the bar there, and they are receiving this feeling, of course, the kind of the hate from that group. As we know, these different members. The whole sequence there, and just the scenes when they're kind of camping at night, and discussing all things life, really. It just really is absolutely masterful. I must say that. A lot of this film is masterful. There's no denying that for me. Not overall, I wouldn't call this quite masterpiece overall, but it's not miles off. I think this is just a stunning film, and I think the music, of course, you've got the band, you've got the birds, you've got of course Steppenwolf, two songs in particular that they that are in this film, and just a wonderful soundtrack here. It's spiritual songs, it's epic rock songs, and these songs as well that fit perfectly for a road trip film experience, and just really, really such a stunning soundtrack, wonderfully shot, beautifully told. This narrative, it just gets me. It reels me in, very, very naturally. But in the end, so affecting. Such a powerful film, this, and just really just so addictive. I wanted to know what happened next to these characters, even though at first we don't really learn anything about these characters really, too much. There's not much dialogue, involving character development, exposition perhaps, but as it goes, it really just naturally expands, and just seeing at first these kind of you could say random interactions. We learn about the characters there, and then they have there's more of the dialogue heavy scenes later in the film, and just a wonderful flow to the picture. At times, as I say, it's kind of jarring, and just kind of distracting, and something that I don't love some of the editing, but later on it really it really is wonderful, and overall the editing is great, because the flow of the picture is really, really wonderful to see, and just feeling this gradually unfold, the narrative, and just the experience is something to behold overall. So I can't deny overall the editing is great. Just I love these characters, the warmth of these characters, the friendship of Billy and Wyatt, and of course when George comes into the film, I love that character of course as well. Jack Nicholson gives a hilarious performance. He has some very funny moments here, and of course when he drinks, the thing he does there. I'm not going to do it, but yeah, it's just hilarious, and of course just in general, Dennis Hopper is always funny really in the films I've seen from him, and of course behind me, seeing if you'll notice, I've got an art card there from Apocalypse Now, the Blu-ray set. Of course, Dennis Hopper, as we know, was in that film, and he was legendary in that one. In this film here, this is his first directed feature, and of course starring in this film, as we know. So, really, a hats off to Dennis Hopper here. He was legendary in this, in this film. Directing, writing, and acting, absolutely stunning in every regard, and just his vision here, and just Peter Fonda as well. The way they collaborated on this film. Again, these two main characters, but also the two main writers of this film, and just really infusing, specific feelings, general feelings, that you can kind of pick up on as well, and just these themes of isolation, this broken society, perhaps, all these themes that are all kind of in this film here. It really is so much to kind of unpack, but it's a very easy film to watch as well. And just really, really beautiful, simple film here, and also complex emotions, such a human experience, and in the end, it is actually, yes, just like the characters are going through. For me, it's a spiritual journey, seeing this unfold, and it's just, it's epic, it's tragic, it's beautiful, and it's funny, of course, and just mysterious as well. There's moments in this film that I still, second time round, of course, it's something that I don't quite know how I feel about, perhaps the dialogue of some moments. What does this really mean? I know what it means. I know what's going on here, but what does it really mean? There's a lot of subtext in this film, and again, some people may not view this as a real film that's thought out in a particular way, or a real accomplished work. Some would not say that perhaps, and everyone's entitled to their own opinion. I think there's a lot more going on here than meets the eye, and there's a lot of underlying kind of feelings, themes, and just meanings I feel with this one, despite being a very as well at the same time very easy to watch, kind of simple road trip film. Seeing these characters, of course, relatable characters, explosive at times, other times peaceful, and there are of course very, very violent moments as we go later on in the film, and that's because these other members, these other groups, and just individuals are causing this violence. These characters, our main characters, of course, are just going through no harm, of course, but as we know, the groups. In the end, all these individuals killing all of our, three, you could say, main characters. When Jack Nicholson, his character of George, is dispatched, that is such a sad moment, and once again, I didn't quite remember it being at that moment there. So very, very shocking, and just so sad. But yes, then we learn, as we know, that our other two characters, our main protagonists, of course, the ones that we've been following throughout this film, when they meet their end as well, is obviously overall a very, very tragic, kind of sad film here. But despite that, I do find, at the same time, it's very uplifting to me, and just, has such a free spirit, this film, the whole experience, that kind of allows me to kind of also feel this this sense of, just this peaceful feeling, spiritual feeling, and of course this film, in a nutshell as well, is about freedom, and being free and also not being free, as we know later on in the film, but just freedom, and it captures this so wonderfully, just through every character here. Karen Black is in the film as well later on. But yes, this whole film is so compelling, and just such a stunning piece of cinema. It really is an honest film, told with such sincerity, patience, I feel, and also just there's this sense of urgency to the picture. But all these themes, freedom, just dreams as well. Dreams are very interesting kind of theme explored in this film in a different way to our main theme of freedom, and but I think so many different things going on here, isolation as well, and just society in general, kind of a broken society, the different clashes here, if you will, and yes, just seeing the the sense of humanity in this film is very, very lovely to see, and that's how it's uplifting as well. To me, seeing a film this warm, full of heart and passion, and just always sincere throughout this film, that is always uplifting to see, and such a natural film, and also very cinematic as well. So yes, a stunning piece of cinema. Some things that aren't quite to the level of masterpiece status for me, and there are some slights, mainly early on, in the editing department, but the editing overall, I do think is stunning, and there are just some things that don't quite, throughout the film go to that masterpiece level, but overall, it's regardless a great film, in my opinion, and just it's a film that is so enjoyable, so epic, so funny, of course, as well, and just seeing these characters who I cared about so much, and just these very interesting moments of dialogue, and just so compelling, so human, and just seeing how this progresses. Of course, this narrative, all these different story beats, you could say. Of course, early on, it's more it's kind of very natural, you could say random interactions. But as the film goes on, it really kind of has more of a focus on specific dialogue, and the themes are really explored as we go along, and it's just a really remarkable achievement in my opinion, and yes, Dennis Hopper really just delivered an absolutely stunning piece of cinema. Wow, what a film this is. Certainly on my favourites list. I'm not saying how high it is, I'm not really too sure, but it is on my list of favourites, and yes, stunning cinema, it really is, and just a truly great film. So overall, my rating for this film is an extremely high one, and that is a 95%. Yes indeed, I'll go that far. I think this is an absolute just legendary piece of cinema, and there are some slights here and there, but really I love this film, from start to finish. There's always something going on, and just so compelling, this film, so entertaining, very funny, of course, hilarious, and but at the same time very powerful, and it's just this free film in its spirit and its structure as well. Although it does follow a loose kind of narrative here, it's kind of going from A to B in that sense. We just see how these characters are interacting. That's some of the films that do this. Usually my favourites. Are ones that don't necessarily have a massive plot. They're more about characters and just mood. I think this is a very much a mood piece, especially early on, and then it really kind of develops, into this very layered, complex film. In its emotions, in its themes, and just this sense of the whole way in which this film explores freedom. Of course, is very interesting. Not what you'd expect when this film begins. It really is. It's a film that has so much going on underneath, and you're just feeling this once again. It really is a stunning piece of cinema. So powerful. Uplifting. Just so enjoyable. So entertaining and hilarious, and beautiful film. This really. Just so wonderfully captured. Dennis Hopper. Hats off to Dennis Hopper, of course. He was great. In everything I've seen him in. Apocalypse Now as well. He's always memorable. He was always a particular kind of pivotal role to a particular film, and also as well just his small appearance in Rebel Without a Cause, of course as well. He's seen that. It's very interesting. But Dennis Hopper, really, in this film, directing, writing, acting, just really stunning, and Peter Fonda as well, absolutely amazing, and Jack Nicholson, for the small kind of, in comparison, screen time that he has, just under 20 minutes, I believe. He is legendary as well, and this is why he became, I guess, one of the reasons why he became one of the greatest actors of all time. And he really, this was one of the films that really put him in the spotlight. And after this, he had 5 Easy Pieces, which I reviewed a while back. Check it out if you want. If you're interested in that, I reviewed that one, and yes, of course, moving on to eventually One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, which I could review as well over the next few weeks. Rewatching that again very recently, but just seeing this film, these characters, just this feeling, and this sense of freedom, and all these different themes that are going on here, and the way it's captured, this is stunning. It really is. Some slights with the film, but overall, a great film, and truly. Just such a absorbing, beautiful spiritual experience, throughout, really. And yes, I couldn't recommend this more, really. And just to anyone who loves kind of road trip films as well, this is definitely up there for me. And yes, there we go. There we have it. We'll wrap up, of course. What do you think of this film? This will be very interesting to see what your thoughts are on this. It's a very unique film, of course, and very interesting to discuss, I guess, and all the different moments, the comedy in the film, the power of this, just the kind of very unique way in which it's made, and edited, directed, and just the kind of feeling of of course, the daring elements of this, the boldness, this is very, it really is an admirable film as well, and just. All the different moments in this, be very interested to discuss, and what do you think of it? That's my question to you. Yes, of course, over time, I'll be exploring the rest of Dennis Hopper's films, and I really look forward to that. It should be interesting, and as well, ticking off in that sense, the rest of Jack Nicholson's films that I haven't seen, and because I've seen most of the big ones, but yes, there are still, a few that I haven't seen. Even the big ones, most of them, but yes. Of course, we'll end it there. What do you think? As I say, it'd be great to know. And yes, as always, take care. And yes, thanks for watching.